Hello, everyone. So happy you can join us today. Today, we're going to explore D&H and Neat together, how we can create solutions that work throughout the entire workspace. So today, we're going to take about 30 minutes, and we're going to show you a lot of different examples of the different ways to deploy the Neat technology and how D&H plays a role in helping us get to customers and install this much more efficiently. So what we want to do here is, before we actually start the tour, is just a little bit of housekeeping. So my name is Mark Berrigan. I work for Neat, and what we want to do today is take you through the day in the life of two personas. First, we're going to do the IT admin. So before the IT admin gets into the office, how they use the Neat tools, then also employees, how employees experience the second they walk through the front doors, the different ways we could deploy the Neat product with the D&H team. So first what I want to do is start off with the persona of the IT admin. Now, before I even get to the office, what I like to do is actually start my day using something called Neat Pulse. This is my visibility into the network. So as you can see here, I can scroll, make sure everything looks happy today. It looks like one of our Neat pads is offline, so we'll take a look at that when we get to the office. I know they're doing a lot of changes in the office today, so not surprising there. But let's just say we wanted to do something like a remote control session. I can click on the space over here. And the nice thing about this is we have Neat Sense on all of our hardware. What is Neat Sense? It's my environmental sensor data. We can see the temperature of the room, the humidity, the air quality, the CO2 levels, and also occupancy. And by the way, this is all of this data could be synced up to a third-party real estate or visitor management platform. But let's just say now, again, I'm still at home. I haven't gotten to the office yet. But what's going to happen next is I just clicked on a button to take remote control of the space. Now with remote control, what just is happening right now is we can't just intrude in the space. Someone has to be in there, and if they accept or decline, that's going to be how I could take control of space. So it's privacy for that. Now, once I'm in there, I can see the actual Neat pad itself, the touch controller, and the actual screen. I can take it a step further by turning on the camera in the space, and this is really where I get the visibility into that room. So as you see, I'm starting the meeting right now. And indeed, I see my colleague Daniel's in there, actually. And the nice thing about that is, as it's connecting right here, not only do I get visibility, so I feel much more comfortable knowing that that space is tidied up and my important meeting later that day should be good to go. But I could give white glove services as well with Neat remote control. And you can see here maybe little things like adjusting the volume, adjusting the video layout, all these things I could do on the fly remotely. And I don't have to be on premise either to use remote control. This is something that we can work outside of the network as well as internally if I give it permission to. So that's remote control. Also with Neat Pulse, we have the capability of creating profiles. So if, for example, in our space here in San Jose, we have about 30 devices. And the last thing I want to do is go to each and every one of them to set one of these settings. With profiles, I set it once across all 30 devices, so I have consistent settings on all my Neat devices. Last but not least, I just want to quickly touch on something called App Hub. So we run today in 3 modes. We're certified to run Microsoft Teams rooms, Zoom rooms, and then our third mode is our independent mode we call App Hub. What is independent mode? It's basically I can run third-party apps like AppSpace, Envoy, Corbett, a lot of these different apps that aren't necessarily supported by Microsoft Teams or Zoom. I have the capability of running them on our independent mode. We're going to see this throughout the tour, and it'll make more sense. Now, before I get to the office, what you're going to experience here is we have our workspace reservation tools, which we work with many different providers. So before I get to the office, this is a live snapshot over here of your calendar. Whether you use Office 365 or Google, I can go and book a space here easily. I want to show you what this is like when I arrive to the office doing it on a Neat device. Much funner experience. And then also visitor management. So before I get to the office, I do have a special guest today named Kirsten from D&H. And what I want to do here is send her a visitor management, which I already did earlier. So now what I want to do is go and take that short commute to the office. And then we're going to begin the physical tour, what the experience is from an employee at your organization that would be able to experience a lot of the Neat products. Short commute, I'll be right back. Kirsten, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
So
Thank you for
happy.
having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely.
You ready to talk some D&H and Neat?
Absolutely. So, all of you know, I am Kirsten Gorham. I am your Neat BDM at D&H, and excited to take this tour and see what all Neat has to offer us.
Awesome. And keep the questions coming. This is
Yeah,
interactive. So
absolutely.
any questions out there that you're seeing, Pierce will relay those to us. So let's go ahead and get started. And right when you walk through the front doors, one of the first things you're going to see here at Neat headquarters and a lot of our clients is this same workspace reservation page you just saw on my PC. I have it here at the front of the office. And this is running on our Neat Board 50. We wanted to put our 65-inch here, Kirsten, but it was just too narrow of a column.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why we have 3 different sizes of an all-in-ones. One size doesn't fit all. So I can do the same thing I do from home, just simply walking up, clicking on this spot, clicking reserve, and just like that, I can reserve the space for the amount of time I want. Super simple. Let's just say I really wanted this Oslo room. I can click on it, click on reserve, and it'll give me the next available time slot, even though it's already reserved. So it automatically forwards. So it's very, very intuitive to set this up.
Also, does it have wayfinding? So if I'm new to this building, like today, I can find my way to where I would like to go?
Yes, absolutely. Great point. So you click on here and you click directions and it does the wayfinding for you. So now we know down the hall to the right.
Absolutely.
Pretty simple, right?
Sounds good.
Again, the true north here is your calendar. So whether you're using Office 365, Google Calendar, or Exchange, this is just a representation from there. It's a live visualization. So if I book something here, it'll flow all the way through to your calendar and vice versa. So if I book Nadarno's in my calendar on my PC, it's going to turn red here. So just so everybody knows, that's your true north.
Hey, Mark.
Now, Kirsten, let's get you checked in. Oh, go Pierce, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a question from Nathan Butler that said, are there notifications?
Yes, so notification, yes. It depends on what platform you're using, because we work with the likes of Envoy, AppSpace, Zoom, and a couple others. If the platform supports it, then yes, you'll get a notification. And the next thing too, you're going to get even more notifications. So let's
Okay,
get Kirsten checked in.
One more before that. How did you acquire the floor plan that you were showing?
Great question. So the floor plan behind me, that is basically just a CAD drawing that came from our facilities team. So it's very common to get the CAD drawings from facilities. We import them into the workspace reservation platform, and then we go ahead and overlay those with the bookable spaces.
Great, thanks.
Cool. Now, you got that visitor management request, right?
Yes, I got my email and I am all registered, so we can do that here on the Neat frame.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's get you checked in.
Visitor check in, and then I will take a picture of my QR code.
A little bit over to the left. Sorry, the opposite way. It's counterintuitive. So let's just enter the verification code.
We'll just enter this.
Yeah, because it's having a hard time reading the QR code. So we have the backup. And so what she's doing now, she pre-registered from the email that was sent. Once she does that, then basically she just checks in. We're all done, just like that. So super simple to do this. This right here is the Neat frame. The nice thing about frames is we're replacing a lot of iPads. Traditionally, iPads need enclosures, adapters. This device changes the game, right, Kirsten?
Absolutely. Not only that, iPads are a consumer
grade electronic.
Great.
Yeah.
So this is industrial built. It is for commercial spaces. It puts that camera more at an eye level. So when you walk in, you don't have any kind of, bending over, taking weird pictures. It's right there. And then it can also be attached with a Brother printer so that you can print out a badge with a photo. And then both of these, Brother and Neat, are available at D&H. So we can take care and source this whole solution for you.
Awesome. And just a little bit more. So that's visitor management. We also could do receptionist, virtual receptionist. So the receptionist can work from this floor, another building, or IT Genius Bar, facilities. There's so many use cases we can do. Also, one of the latest over here, and my cold fingers over here today are just not getting the buttons, deliveries. So if I go here and click on, maybe I'm looking for Daniel, my colleague in the office, I simply type his name, type Daniel Eisenman, and basically with this add delivery here, I can also take a picture of the package. And so that person will get notified that their package got delivered.
Yeah.
And this could be the UPS personnel or FedEx or whoever the shipping agent is. So very, very versatile what I could do with these. And again, that's the Neat frame, so we can replace others.
And so this is Neat frame on Microsoft.
No, good question. This is on Neat. This is actually on Zoom ecosystem.
Zoom ecosystem.
Yes.
What if we were using Microsoft, or
let's move over. So great
Hey, Mark.
question. So yes, go ahead. Kirsten.
Just as you're continuing to talk about frame, can you just mention the size of that screen?
Yeah, this screen is about 19 inches. from top left to bottom right. So it's a portrait view because it plays very well for the space what we're doing here, which is virtual receptionist, visitor management, deliveries. That ecosystem was Zoom, but this one over here is what normally Microsoft customers use. And there's a variety of those because Microsoft Teams doesn't have visitor management, but virtual front desk is a very popular one that our customers use. If you go onto the virtual front desk website, you'll see a frame on there. Visitors could check in, and you can call receptionist. That receptionist actually will tie back into a Teams client. So we have virtual front desk. We have this one happens to be AppSpace, Envoy. There's a lot that we work with today to bring this to the front lobby or your front desk.
I think another important thing to mention is Neat has dropped the price in this. So to afford one of these is not that much different than affording an iPad nowadays. So I think that's important to call out.
Great point.
Awesome.
All right, let's continue on. So just moving right along, Pierce, any other questions before we move forward and show some more spaces?
No, we're caught up. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks for that. That makes the tour a lot funner when we're getting live questions. So let's talk a little bit about, I mentioned we have 3 sizes here at Neat. We have the 19-inch frame, we have the 50-inch board, and then a 65-inch board. What if we need bigger? So here what we're looking at is a Gen 2 bar from Neat, and then we have a 100-inch wide display over here, 21:9 aspect ratio. And super simple to set up. It's just the one HDMI cable to the screen and USB for touch interface. So we actually could do a touch over here, which we had a whiteboard on earlier. I don't know what happened. But see, we have the touch capabilities over here. But just to let you know, we can work with bigger screens if you need to go beyond our 65-inch.
Absolutely.
Right,
so at D&H, we have other display brands that will give you the interactive or non-interactive. So we can go up to 200 plus inches on some direct view LED, but then also, 43 to probably 85 inch, 90 inch on an IFP for touch.
Awesome. Come on this way. I was checking to see if the spaces are ready. This is a live office, by the way. So come on over here, Kirsten. Next, let's talk scheduling displays. So scheduling displays over here. If you take a look over here, this right here happens to be a scheduling display. I can click on reserve. A nice thing about this is I can go to the next available time slot if I need to. I could adjust that, hit reserve. But also, if you come back in, like we can have that live floor plan. So no matter where we're at, we get the live floor plan. And I can go and book a different space if I need to, a totally different room. Also, really cool here is the trouble ticket system. So if I need to start a trouble ticket, I can hit help, send report. If there's something that we need to report, and this could go to customize email address, right, Kirsten?
Absolutely. So if you are using D&H's Pro Services for your IT desk, that could be an email address that goes straight over to our team to help you support those items.
Yep.
Also, I think another thing to call out here is the Neat Pad. That's the device that we're using. That is one SKU. It doesn't matter which platform you're on. So if you're using Teams or Zoom or, in the future, Google Meets is coming, it's just one SKU. It doesn't matter the platform. You pick it as you set it up.
Yeah, PoE, so super simple to set up. D&H can, roll these out. And by the way, this could be used in a room that has video or not. So you don't have to have a video conferencing room to have this. Your true north, once again, is your calendar. Whether you're using Office 365, Google Calendar, that's what this is a representation of. Now, what we want to do next is join a huddle room. So Kirsten, let's go ahead and come in here. This huddle space, this is using the same hardware, Kirsten, as we saw at the front of the tour.
Yes, this is a Neat Board 50.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Neat Board 50. Nice thing about this is we're using a purpose-built Neat stand. The Neat stand is built with reclaimed recycled material from the ocean, those water bottles, and we create acoustic panels with these. So these are pretty cool. Absorb some of that audio in the space here. What else can we do? This is versatile. It's got wheels. We can go low to do video conference in this space, get that good eye contact. A little bit higher if we want to do maybe perhaps a Microsoft whiteboard session. We could do that on the fly. So you're going to see the versatility of these right now. So I'm just starting a Microsoft whiteboard. This could be also content that we're going on top of. If I'm just on this space and I'm starting to talk, network diagrams with my colleagues here, and I'm just having a Scrum session, we don't even have to be in a meeting. What else? This is really cool. But now a lot of our semiconductor companies, they like to use document cameras. So how cool is this? I have a document camera set up over here. And if I just want to show you just how granular I can get, right? I can get in there. I can hit zoom over here. And just like that, you're seeing detailed images over here, right? That I can either share with the team here in the room or remotely. So this is really cool. A lot of our customers love this. By the way, these spaces they're relatively simple to set up. Let me hit stop share. What I want to do now is I want to go and show a quick video on how to install these. And then we're going to join you from this room and dial into the meeting. We'll be right back.
All right, so now we've joined the call, and now being part of this call over here, it's really awesome. So we purposely left the camera zoomed all the way out. So there's different things we could do in a space like this. Right off the bat, you know, if I just turn it into individual framing, that's going to give us the capability of condensing the space down now. So you saw that where it was kind of zoomed out, kind of gave you that bowling alley view. Now we have individual framing built right into the board here. Also, this takes into account for if I stand up, you know, and Kirsten's obviously still sitting down, it's going to adjust for this. So this is a nice thing about this, right? It's not intimidating either because there's no physical PTZ here. We're doing it via the software here, but it's still a very clear, crisp experience. And, you know, we have microphones in the space that can either be just at the board or we can enable the microphone inside the touch panel too.
Absolutely. The
Right.
two microphones that are in there.
Yep. And so we even have further capabilities, like if we wanted to do just kind of like framing out two individuals in the space, we didn't want to do individual framing. So you had kind of like the table involved, we could do that as well. And last but not least, we do have speaker focus. Now, Kirsten's still here with me. However, if I'm talking right now, it's going to focus on me because it knows that I'm the active speaker, but Kirsten, you know, if you want to.
However, if I start talking, it will eventually come over to me.
Yeah, and I think you need to say a little bit more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How's your, yeah, go ahead.
So when you start talking, it'll bring it the presenter mode over to me. And then if we were having a conversation, obviously it would probably show it to both of us. And then if I was to just keep talking and I was the only one in the space, it would frame me out as the speaker now.
Yeah, so it takes a little bit. So at first it'll put the two active speakers in the space, right? And then it'll switch over. And it gets to know it. So we're using some machine learning here to really kind of you know, pass through this. But this is the experience in a small huddle room. We're going to go to a larger space now, Kirsten, where it's a little more complex, and that's really where the partner ecosystem shines when we get these complex spaces and we really simplify them. So let's go take a look at that.
Sounds good.
Awesome. We'll be right back.
Awesome. Well, how was that? That was, again, a live call in there. Great technology, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All good things to come. And what we can do, and we can show you some even larger spaces.
I think, yes, I think that was a simple. Let's go to a much more complex space that I think folks traditionally have a hard time installing. Let's take a walk over here to our larger space. Now,
Hey, Kirsten.
this is
Yes.
Kirsten, while you're there, there was a question if all these SKUs are in D&H's database. I don't know if you want to speak to anything on that while y'all are in transition.
Absolutely. So we do have everything that you're seeing today from Neat. We have that skewed up at D&H. If you want, Pierce, you can write down the name and I can send you a SKU list for your personal account at D&H.
Absolutely. I'll take note. Thank you.
Thank you.
awesome. So the next space over here is, this is what we call our all hands space. It's a flexible space, but it's big. Let me give you a bird's eye view. So this is where we traditionally do our all hands. We'll do partner events. Our customer engagements happen here. We can reconfigure this space. But one thing is common is, we can't just use a regular bar here, right? We need two challenges in the space. One is the audio uplift. And the second is we have a podium over here where presenters are presenting. We need to get multiple camera angles. So those are the challenges that are presented here. But let me explain what we have before we join you from this meeting. So first and foremost, we have a Neat Bar Pro here with 5 connections. 2 HDMI for the 2 screens here, power and network. By the way, the power supply is embedded here, so you don't have to hang a brick behind the screens. It's just a simple plug-in over here into the bar. So those are the 4 connections. The 5th connection is our wireless microphone setup over here. So that is we have a handheld mic and a lapel, which we're going to show you right now. Also, that is a DSP, and the way that's plugged in is USB-C to the bar. So those are the 5 connections. And then we do have a Dante route to ceiling speakers, which we'll show you right now. And then where it really gets unique in this space is we have something called Neat Center here. So Neat Centers are 365-degree camera. You can see that it's inverted, but it also could be on a tripod or a stand over here. But if I zoom back out, it's doing something called Neat Focus. This is a new feature we just introduced, where it's really focusing on the podium. And those 2 sliders are how you configure this. And you basically just define the width and the depth of the area you're focusing on, and that's it. So relatively forward, but D&H can help with the logistics of installing all this stuff, right?
Absolutely. So we do have a pro services team that can do installs for you, whether it's just one room, like we just saw that huddle space, a larger room, or multiple rooms in an office building. We have install services that are queued up, and we can get you a quote. If it's a large installation, definitely set up a call with our pro services team to get you all that information.
Awesome. So I'll tell you what, let's show the audience how this works. We're going to dial in now from this space and show you how it works. So we'll be right back.
All right, so now you're hearing the richness of this audio pickup, right? So I'm talking now on this microphone, which is wireless. What you can't see remotely is we have ceiling speakers as well that are booming the audio in this space. So it's a really powerful setup with the DSP. Again, less is more, so we made it a very simple setup with the 5 connections. But this space over here is, again, lends itself very, very well to these all-hands events. And then, maybe, Kirsten, we want to talk a little bit about the podium. So let me go ahead and give you the microphone so you could talk here.
Absolutely. So we have the Neat Center set up in with Neat Focus, so that it's focusing on me in the presenter area that we have selected in this room and in this space. And you'll see if I'm here and I can have a little bit of room to move around, but if I would come back over here, I'm going to come out of that presenter space and into the regular meeting space.
Now, what if we wanted to have multiple presenters? Could we both be over there, or can we have like a panel up here? That lends itself well for that as well, right? So let me grab another microphone.
We both come over to the presenter area.
Yeah, so now we're here at the presenter area. I have my lapel mic over here, which I haven't attached yet, but now you can see that it frames us out, right? So now both of us over here, we're at the front of the room, and we're both out here. Now this could be done with whether you're at a podium or you maybe have a panel here of seats at the front. It works beautifully for these use cases. So this is Neat Focus. And again, this is how we're showing advanced AV over IP here. More to note over here is this is looking for 3-dimensional characters. So that's why we're confident in pointing it back at the front of the space over here. You might want to come over here because you're starting to get out of the boundary there, Kirsten. But in this space over here, it allows us to still point to the front of the room where there's people on the actual TV displays, but you're not picking them up. Because our technology knows to pick up only 3-dimensional real characters. So we can have pictures behind us, or we can have people at the front on the screen. It doesn't matter, right? And so that's very powerful technology, right?
Absolutely. I think it's big when you're in rooms like this. Also, when you're in, board rooms where you might have different pictures or different art on the wall, it makes it, really easy to have a meeting where it's not kind of zooming in on some weird third person that's not in your room with you.
Yeah, so very powerful technology. And then when we walk away, again, it just releases it. So, we walk away, and the nice thing about that is this is not a new concept, but just wanted to point out that other solutions can be built where you're pointing at a podium. However, if someone's not there, you're still going to get that shot. With this solution, if someone's there, we bring them to the forefront to a prominent speaking position. If they're not, we release that quadrant altogether, which is powerful. Now, one thing I'll mention for the partner ecosystem out there is we mentioned earlier, these usually have about $50,000 to $60,000 worth of hardware in here. This we built for about $15,000 worth of hardware. That's including the bar, the center, the DSP, and the ceiling speakers. And we only mention this because that allows you to build more of these for your customers, and it's a much more scalable approach.
Absolutely. And at D&H, we also have different credit options for you to be able to, create these spaces for your partners. It doesn't really matter what kind of, budget they're looking at. We have X as a service where we can break this whole room down into monthly or yearly payments for you, along with some other creative options. So definitely reach out if you have projects that you're looking to need finance for.
Awesome. So one more thing before we break here is there's a touch panel to my left over here, a neat board. And the nice thing about the neat board is this is an all-in-one. And if I was presenting from it, you can kind of see it, right?
Yeah,
you can kind of see it, but this is not the experience you're going to want, right? If I was sharing out my Google Maps over here, you just don't get that good experience. So how do we solve that? We have something called Neat Share. Neat Share allows us to beam this into the meeting, and you get this rich experience. And so now I can show you more granular details of the maps in this area. So just another thing that Neat brings to the table to make it a better conferencing experience.
I think it's also important to remember that a lot of these are purposely built around the far end participant. So us here in this room, I might be able to see that board over there, but you guys couldn't see it very good from where you are. And so able to bring that Neat Share in really allows you to kind of see exactly what we're seeing in this space.
Great point. All right, we're going to go ahead and hang up this call now, and then we'll join you back on the tour, show you a couple more spaces.
So awesome. How cool was that, right? The experience you get on the far side from this space. And again, super simple to use, AV over IP. So it just makes it super simple to create these spaces.
Absolutely. I'm ready to see what else you have to show us.
Let's do it.
All right.
Now, this over here, Kirsten, is where a lot of the neaters walk in this office because there's a lot of people that work around the corner here. In this space here, we have a lot of foot traffic, and that lends itself to digital signage. So digital signage over here is running on the Neatboard Pro. This is a 65-inch, so we have a larger canvas here. We're able to put the big board here. The front of the tour obviously was the narrower wall, so we had the smaller one. Again, important to have multiple sizes. So this right here is basically digital signage. The digital signage itself, what's happening over here is it's on a fixed wall mount. We have that option, but we also have an adjustable wall mount. All three of the options we showed today we actually sell those stands. So it's not something you have to go to a third party to acquire. And this happens to be running basically our app hub mode, that independent mode we talked about. So I could do things over here like maybe bring up a web browser. If I bring up a web browser, looks like someone was searching for a car. Now, sometimes customers say, hey, what if I was this company and I wanted to lock down this URL or this domain? As you notice here, someone can come here and change this, right? We don't want to do that. So what we've created is something called a web app. And so with web apps, I can click on, this is our website. And what you're noticing here is there's no URL. So I can go here and I can use my own website here to present the different stuff we're doing here, the different experiences, for example, that we have here at Neat. So that's called a web app where you want to lock down a specific URL. This could be a dashboard, a website, a lot of different things that we could do here. And super simple. So I'm going to pause there. Pierce, any other questions out there?
There are a few more questions. I don't want to get you guys off track, but so I'm going to save some till the end. So for those that have asked, I promise I'll get to them. But Mark, I want to take you back to the room where you were in the, I think it was the board 50 with the pad. One of the questions was, can you draw on the board from the tablet on the table?
Oh,
Which
great
was the pad?
question. So, yeah, that depends on the platform. So with Microsoft Teams today, we don't have that with Microsoft Teams rooms. With Zoom, they're a little bit more flexible. We can't do it on our Neat pad, but Zoom that lets you bring in like an iPad and create a companion device there. Or if you're using one of our boards, you can annotate on that as well. So you do have some flexibility on the Zoom side to do stuff like that, but not on the Microsoft Teams side.
Okay, great. Thank you. Another question would be, and this was when you were using Neat Center in that amphitheater, this is when that question came in. It says, how many
Mhm.
people can you have in the frame? And so I think that means from a
Oh,
framing
great
perspective.
question. Yeah. So generally we say you don't want to go beyond 7 or 8 because then it becomes too cluttered. But it can do up to 24. We don't recommend that because then it becomes too tiny of little quadrants. So we do have something that we're going to show you in the next stop, which is, well, that speaker focus we showed you earlier in the small huddle room. We can also do that in the larger room as well. So, when you get beyond, like, let's just say the 6 or 7, then you probably want to turn on what's called speaker focus versus neat focus. That way it'll frame out the individual in that space. So we can configure it slightly different depending on the numbers.
Okay. One more question just rolled in, and I think it's around digital signage. So right while you're there, I'd like for you to stay. It says, if you log into a specific site, for example, an online form on the web, can it be set up to wipe the data every 5 minutes, like as an example?
Yeah, this is one thing we could do on the far side is we can create something where we do refresh that. So I don't know the exact time limits that we have set on that today, but we can explore that further offline.
Okay, thank you. And then one of the questions is, we use Teams. Can I cast the display from my laptop into the Teams meeting? I don't want to join the meeting from my laptop.
Yes, the answer to that is 100% yes. And teams have gotten better on this. Zoom already has a way to do ultrasonic frequency pairing, but the casting from Microsoft has gotten a lot better. I use it all the time. And so the way it works is basically I walk into the room, open up my laptop. And when I hit present on the Teams client, it's going to notice that I'm in a room, and it's going to say, do you want to cast it onto this particular device? And you cast. So yes, you could do that wirelessly.
Great. I'm going to save a couple more to the end, so y'all keep moving.
Okay, cool. Let's keep going. So the next stop over here is we're going to talk a little bit more about digital signage. By the way, that digital signage you saw was from AppSpace, but we also support Zoom's digital signage and a variety of others. We also support digital signage on our scheduling displays. So notice this right here. The scheduling display is running digital signage in the background, but the second I come up here and I click on it, then it's going to turn into an actual scheduling display. So now I can schedule a slot that I want or see the calendar for the day. The nice thing about this is when I walk away, the digital signage comes right back on. So a lot of our customers say, hey, we have a lot of these scheduling displays. How do I get more digital signage on there? And this one happens to be running in that independent mode called App Hub. And it's specifically running AppSpace's app on there, which can be a scheduling display and digital signage simultaneously. So just in case you need that, there is a way for us to do that.
Absolutely. Also, I think it's important to note that we've seen them in this tour all mounted on a wall, but Neat also does sell a glass mount, so you can mount it on a glass wall like this, or if it was on a column. There's a couple of different ways that we can install this for you as well. It doesn't need to just be on a wall like you see it here.
Awesome. Well, one final stop over here. This is a large conference room, so Kirsten, please, let's lead the way. This space is our large conference room. This is about 35 feet in depth and about 20 feet in width. The challenge in this space is the glass. There's a lot of glass, and that adds a lot of audio reverberation.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
So what we want to demonstrate in this space is how we can eliminate that. So we're going to show you dynamic audio in here. We're going to show you the way we work with these neat devices on the table. But first, let me explain the setup. So in this space, there's no Shure microphone integration in here or ceiling speakers. This is just a Neat Bar Pro with 4 connections, the 2 HDMI, power network, that's it. By the way, these Pro bars can connect a single display, dual, or triple. There's 3 HDMI outputs on there, so just keep that in mind that it's a very powerful setup. There's nothing connecting the bar to the table, though, so you don't need any trenching or cord drilling. You connect the devices on the table to your local network or isolated network underneath the table. And and then they're all paired together with Neat Pulse, which we opened the tour with. So talk a little bit about installing these spaces, Kirsten, and how D&H can help.
I like to say that they're installer friendly. If you already have an existing room like this that's already pre-built, maybe it does have video that you're taking out, or it's new to video, you don't have to do any kind of like under the floor drilling. You don't have to figure out something to cover the wires that are going to be going to the table. It is clean and it is simple to install, which leads it to be the reason that we have seen so much success, I think.
Awesome. So again, let's show the crowd how this performs. So we're going to dial in from this space, show you the audio, show you the video experience, and then we'll be back at the end to wrap things up for Q&A with Pierce at the end. Be right back.
All right, we're here now. So what I want to do is I'm going to walk up to the front of the room, and I'm not trying to creep out the audience over here. It is dark because there's no light here. The light's above the table, but I want you to focus on my audio. We have something called dynamic audio, which allows us to pick up audio of the participant from the closest microphone they're at. So as I walk around the room, you might notice a subtle change where my audio is picked up, but you're not going to lose any audio. So now I'm at the center of the table, no pun intended, but the Neat Center is literally picking up our audio right now. How's it going, Kirsten? How are you?
Good.
Awesome.
It's been a fun day.
Yeah, right. So we're almost there. Now, this right here is basically picking me up because it knows I'm closest to this array of microphones on the table, which is the Neat Center. So Neat Center is a 360-degree camera, but it also has a rich microphone pickup. Now, even if I go to the back of the room, what you're going to notice is now I'm sitting all the way at the back of the room. And this is a rich pickup. Even as I get closer, you can hear that. So anywhere I'm at in the space, it's going to find out which microphone is the best one to use. Now, the nice thing about this is, now let me go ahead and just turn on this auto framing, which now frames us out. Now, what I want to do now is something that I'm always encouraged not to do, which is unplug this in real time. Now, you're going to hear the difference. I'm going to go ahead and unplug this now. Now, it's not in action, so you're obviously not hearing me from here. You're hearing me from the microphones at the front. So you will get a little reverberation because there's so much glass in here. But now I'm going to plug this back in, bring this in real time. So you're seeing the lights blink. And by the way, I'm moving this all around and really kind of tapping it all over. It's okay if you do that with ours. Because, Kirsten, one of the things we do with our technology is it self-heals. So when it boots back up right now, it's going to go ahead and pair itself back to the bar in the front. And the nice thing about this is it'll also bring the microphone back in live. So that reverberation you might be hearing right now will disappear. It takes about a minute to reboot. But again, not only is it reconfiguring and learning its surrounding again using the machine learning, but it's also going to triangulate and it's going to fix the cameras as well. So the cameras are going to recalibrate.
I think it's also important to note in that you might have a space where you're using all of these seats at one point in time, but maybe next time we're only using these front couple. We can move this more to the center of that side of the table. It doesn't need to be bolted down or nailed down and configured to a certain space. It will kind of recalibrate itself as you're moving in the middle of a call or before or after.
And just like that, now the ring's back on. So it's now back online and you're hearing my rich audio and you're not hearing that reverberation anymore. So that's the power of having speakers on the table, or microphones on the table. Also the neat pad here. This has embedded microphones as well. So we're nicely covered from a microphone perspective in this space, right? You don't always have to do the audio uplift like you saw in the large all hands space where you need a DSP. This works beautifully. What else? Now, not only the audio, but notice right now that, if we had 6 or 7 people in here, you'd notice it more. The table is taking up probably about 60% of the real estate right now on screen, right? So for the far end participant, like you said earlier, that's not optimal, right? Especially as we put more people in here. So what do we do there? So we have the capability of turning on individual framing. So now individual framing allows the cameras now to pick us up and individually frame us the same way like if we're on our own PC or a laptop, Mac or PC, then we get that individual framing. The nice thing about this, though, is we take it a step further. Because naturally, we're looking at the front of the room when someone remotely is talking. But what happens when folks in this room start talking? So now Kirsten and I are having this conversation, and you're seeing the side of our head probably now, right? That's not fun.
And when we turn to each other, we're having a
Yeah.
conversation, the center will pick us up and you will see our conversation and our facial expressions across the table versus from the side.
Yeah, see, there you go, actually. So you're not seeing the side, you're seeing my shot right here coming from the center. And the nice thing about this here is that you guys are seeing a preview now, going through beta, but now the ability to have multiple centers. So if we look all the way to the back of the room, you're not going to see the back of our head. The center in the back of the room knows that we're looking over there, and it's going to see us. So again, no matter where I'm looking in the room, chances are there's going to be a good pickup. And so now you're seeing me here. Also, Kirsten, you mentioned earlier that we do have boundaries. So in our software, in the, you saw earlier, if this glass was not frosted, we can set a barrier there so it wouldn't look beyond this line over here. So yet another innovation, right?
And then, like I said, if that wasn't frosted, you could maybe know that someone's walking back there, but it's not going to bring them in and then be part of your meeting that you're having.
Yeah.
I think another thing to call out with Center, and I'm sure you guys are seeing it as we're moving around this space, it does have a little bit of a lag. Again, purposely built into it so that you don't get that home theater 1992 Christmas video feel where, the camera just keeps going back and forth as you are naturally having a conversation in a room. It's going to let you get settled and make sure that you're going to be there and not making the far end participants motion sick in your moving around.
Good, great point. And I'll do it one more time. I can't help myself, but I'm going to look now at Kirsten. So now I'm looking at you, Kirsten, across the table. And now I'm going to look all the way to the back of the room. And just how cool is this? And we're not doing anything here, right? This is just all happening automatically. Kirsten's looking at the front. I'm looking to the back, which is totally natural in a meeting. People are not always necessarily looking at the same spot or same person. And now this is just going to give us a good, rich conferencing experience. So, now setting up these rooms, right? Take us home, Kirsten. How does DNH, deploy these spaces?
So we at DNH have the ability to offer you install services. So we have, if you have like one or two rooms, we have skewed up services right on our website, or if you reach out for a quote, we can get that for you. If you have a large deployment where you're looking at a whole office building, we can have a deeper conversation about what that all looks like and the different needs that are needed, and quote that out for you. So definitely can support you from the very beginning of the building of the materials out the whole way through the install and setup. As well as we do have our cloud services team, which can provide the room licensing for whatever platform that you may be using. And I know Neat has just announced Google Meets as coming, so that gives you yet another option for that native experience as far as the pad on the table, and being able to kind of log in from that perspective. So
awesome. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do now is we're going to go and hang up the call. We'll meet you back now on the On24 platform, and we'll continue to take some Q&A if there's any there. But thank you so much for going through the tour here today. I hope you found it useful. And, we showed you a lot of different use cases, everything from, visitor management, space booking, large, medium, small conference rooms, digital signage. We covered a lot.
We did. I would also like to say, if you guys would like these Neat devices for your space, Neat does have an NFR program that we offer at DNH. It's 50% off MSRP pricing. So if you're interested, reach out to Neat Specialist at dnh.com, and I would definitely get you the right material for your space. And if you are interested in doing a demo like this for your customers, reach out and we can get that scheduled for you as well.
Awesome. We'll be right back. Thank you so much. That concludes the tour, and we'll get some Q&A now.
So what do you think, Pierce? I mean, I think pretty simple to use, right? Well, my voice is going out. Pierce, you there? I don't know if you're muted. Okay. Well, everyone, as you see, that was a Neat working in a large conference room. Again, it was about 35 feet in depth,
Absolutely.
20 feet in width. You saw the difference in the audio technology from the Neat Center to the embedded microphones in the bar. So pretty straightforward, simple to use.
Yes, and I think we showed you both Center on a table and also hanging from the ceiling. So when you order a Neat Center, all of the parts to install either way that you want to, whether it's hanging from the ceiling, is all in that box. I think it's also a good thing to call out that most mounting options that you need for both Bar Pro and the Bar 2 also come in that box. So it's not like you need to be worrying about different kind of mountings or anything like that. Definitely comes all together ready to install and make it easy for you. So yeah, I thought we covered a lot today. And
one other thing really quick, I forgot to mention those spaces is a lot of times customers in that room you saw ask about the Neat Center and what if you don't like to have it on the desk. Well, we have a lot of customers that have customized them with their own unique wraps. And the nice thing about this is with these unique wraps, it makes it feel more like it's part of the company versus a piece of technology. So really, really powerful what we could do with the wraps over here, making it a better experience. Pierce, any final questions or comments here before we end the webinar?
Yeah, there actually are a couple. And if we don't get to some of your questions today, we will absolutely follow up. We'll capture them. But some top of mind was, y'all were talking about when you were in the last conference space, you were talking about Google Meet. I just didn't know if, Mark, you could talk about anything with Google Meet integration and share with our audience.
I'm going to peek over to my production team over here, and they want to see the Google room. Any chance we could take a quick, we might be able to take a quick walk over there. Let's take another question, though, and maybe we'll show you something there.
Yeah, maybe it was just a general question from Taylor Hofer, but the one probably more simple question is, can I start meeting recordings from the Neat Pad?
Yes, you can. Again, this is platform dependent. We post on the pad whatever Microsoft Teams or the Microsoft team dictates to us, and same thing with Zoom. If they dictate that UI to have the record button, then we post it on there. But again, it's nothing that Neat does. This is actually part of the platform you're using. So both of those platforms, fortunately, do allow us to hit record on the touch panels. And also transcription. If we need to turn on live transcription from the pad, we could do that. So that's yet another thing you could do there as well. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff you could do there.
Okay, great. One question for you, Kirsten. I know you had previously talked about the ability for partners to purchase NFR for their own use, but one of the questions is there a demo program that we can offer to end users who are interested in Neat?
Absolutely. So Neat does have a demo program, the product evaluation program. I would say it's for kind of a larger use case. However, definitely reach out and let's have a conversation about the opportunity that you have and get you the right help to close that and hopefully a win with Neat and D&H.
Yeah, that's great. Mark, can I ask one more question for you if you're ready for it?
As you're doing that, we're going to walk this way. So Kirsten, let's go this way. So yes, ask that question. We're going to take you back to a room of a beta build, but go ahead, ask the question.
Okay, yeah, so this question, just to take you back, was when y'all were in center in the glass room. Rodney Hall asked, what if you have a person that speaks softly? So what is that experience like with the user's tone?
So a great question, and that's why we do integrations with the likes of Shure. So they're going to do the audio gain control for you. So if it's low, we can spike it up and vice versa. We're doing the same thing with our technology. But yeah, it's really dependent on the Shure integration. Our technology, we do have something called voice isolation. So we can focus and beamform on the person who's speaking, and if they're lower, we can try to do the audio gain boost. So we have technologies in the background to take that. And then furthermore, even Zoom and Microsoft have variations in their platforms where they can do the audio gain.
Thank you.
So this is a sneak peek, by the way, Pierce. You mentioned Google. So what you're seeing here is a native Google build running on our Neat bar. And you can see this is the artwork that Google changes frequently. So, really powerful to know. We have that. It's going through beta right now. The touch controller as well. So the touch controller in this case over here, we have it running Google, as you can see. So really cool, running natively on our platform. And then one last thing over here is scheduling displays, because Google doesn't have any scheduling display software. But what we can do over here is, oh, sorry, wrong place. We have the Neat Pad running something called Comeen, C-O-M-E-E-N. We could walk up to it, click book, and use this as a scheduling display as well. So it's very, very intuitive. And this is something that we just, finished out with over here doing this integration. Make sense?
Thank you. A couple more. Michael Heap, you had a question around use cases. His question was more specific. Is this strictly an SMB product? I know it's not, but he was particularly asking about use cases in education. So if you could elaborate maybe on the use cases of our product and placement.
Yeah, great question. So this space we're in right now lends itself to, we do our trainings here, which is, doubles as a classroom. And again, this is the beautiful thing here about the podium is the presenters or the teachers know exactly where to go to present and share content. And then this neat center here knows how to pick them up. So we design this in a way that it's super easy to reconfigure, whether we're just doing a large all hands here, or we're doing some tables here in a training session or a classroom. This lends itself to that environment, right? So teachers are loving it because it's less technology than traditionally. Regularly, a teacher would have to go get in the touch panel, click all kinds of buttons in order to make this work. This is working right out of the box. All I got to do is stand there, and the magic starts happening with our machine learning.
Yeah, I would say also that this gets us into the classroom. I know from my seat at D&H, we see Neat more in administration buildings, especially when we come to that K through 12 education level. I think having the focus on center gets us into more of the classroom or that higher ed auditorium setting.
Great.
Awesome.
A couple more. Just shifting from verticals, there was a question about global sustainability, and is that a focal selling point? Mark, I don't know if that's anything you want to elaborate on. Just as one of our users said, it was an outstanding, that was really good for the clients.
Yes, absolutely. Sustainability is key to a lot of the products we build. Everything from the acoustic panels you saw that we use reclaimed waste from the ocean, the plastics that we used, right, recyclable materials, even some aluminum that we use as well. So we have a whole track on that on our website if you want to look into our sustainability, but we take that serious, and we're definitely something that we build our products with that in mind.
Also, the 65, the Board Pro. The Board Pro also has that same stand. Yeah. So with the panels in the back with the height adjustable, also comes for the Board Pro as well.
Nice, good point.
Yep. One more question. And then there were some competitor questions, and I know that could take us into a whole nother time. So for those that ask those questions, we'll capture those and we can follow up with you specifically. We have product specialists here at Neat that can answer a lot of those questions. I just know we're going to be up on time, but your questions don't go unnoticed. Also, there's been some questions on costs. So for those of you that have asked that, Kirsten or myself, we can follow up so you can see that. To her point, you can go to dnh.com and you should be able to see the pricing of the Neat products. Mark, one more technical question is around, it says, are the tabletop mics / cameras PoE? Are there wireless battery powered options if cables aren't feasible?
Great question. So yes, they're PoE, and they do need to be wired. They can't be wireless because remember, you're transmitting video and audio. There's a lot of processing power as well in those Neat Center devices. So we process the audio and the video prior to sending them over the wire. That's why we can create that magical experience. We do not have something off the shelf that we provide for battery operated devices like that. Wouldn't recommend that in any case because these spaces generally are being used quite a bit. So the last thing you want to do is have it battery powered and then something goes offline in a critical moment. So we've seen this before where there's third parties that our customers have used, but the feedback we always receive is the battery goes out at the most inopportune time.
Okay, great. I think we have time for one more question, and it's around warranties. Can you discuss warranties of Neat product, but then maybe take it a step further and talk about Pulse from a services component?
Awesome. So general, warranty for us is 1 year after the data purchase, but we do have advanced service options that take you beyond that with Pulse subscriptions. So we have that advanced warranty replacement if you need it, different levels, but right out of the box, you get the 1 year.
Absolutely. And Pulse comes in 1, 3, and 5 year options, and it would cover all of the devices that you saw today. So definitely have you covered from an extended warranty standpoint.
Okay,
awesome.
Great. So I think that was the last question. So any last words from you in the live Neat Experience Center?
I just thank you everyone for taking the time to being here with myself and Kirsten and DNH and Neat, and I hope you took away some valuable lessons on all the different ways that we can build these spaces for you. And just remember, with our modular approach, we use a lot of advanced machine learning to make it just an easier experience for the end users.
Absolutely.
And we hope we conveyed that today.
Absolutely. And I thank you guys all for taking your time and joining us. And if you have any questions or want any follow-up, neatspecialist@dnh.com is how you can get a hold of me.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.